In a small American town, Jamal, a black teenager with a mysterious past, steps off a bus into a world of hostility. Bullies target him, unaware Hayes hiding a secret that will turn their lives upside down. One spark ignites an unstoppable force brace. For a story that hits hard, if this story grips you, hit that subscribe button and join our community for more powerful tales that inspire and shock. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Jamal Carter stepped off the dusty Greyhound bus, his worn sneakers crunching against the gravel of Willow Creek's tiny station. The air smelled of diesel and dry grass, a far cry from the humid streets of Atlanta he'd left behind. At 16, Jamal was tall, lanky, with deep brown skin and eyes that seemed to carry the weight of 1,000 untold stories. His backpack slung over one shoulder held everything he owned: a few changes of clothes, a battered notebook, and a small wooden carving of a lion his mother had given him before she passed. Willow Creek, a sleepy town in rural Ohio, was supposed to be a fresh start. His Aunt Lorraine had promised him a new life after the chaos of foster homes and court hearings. But as Jamal scanned the empty lot, feeling the stares of a few locals lingering nearby, he sensed this place wasn't going to roll out the welcome mat. The town was small, its main street lined with faded storefronts and a single diner where truckers and farmers swapped stories over greasy burgers. Jamal's aunt lived on the outskirts in a modest house with peeling paint. She was kind but tired, her face etched with years of hard work at the local textile factory. "You'll be fine here, Jamal," Shed said when he arrived, her voice warm but strained. "Just keep your head down and stay out of trouble." He nodded, but trouble had a way of finding him like a shadow he couldn't shake. Asterisk school started the next Monday in Willow Creek. High was a concrete box surrounded by cornfields. The hallway smelled of bleach and old gym socks, and the student body was a sea of mostly white faces with a handful of black and Latino kids sprinkled in. Jamal felt the weight of every glance as he walked to his locker, his head high despite the whispers. He wasn't here to make waves, but he wasn't invisible either. That's when he met the King's 3 seniors who ruled the school like petty tyrants. Ethan King, the ringleader, was broad-shouldered with a buzzcat and a smirk that screamed entitlement. His cousins Tyler and Nate followed him like wolves, trailing a pack leader. They were the kind of guys who'd key your car for looking at them wrong, and they'd already zeroed in on Jamal. It started small. Shoulder bump in the hallway, Ethan muttering, "Watch it, new kid." Laughter from Tyler and Nate as Jamal's books scattered. Across the floor, by lunch, they'd escalated to tossing balled-up napkins at him in the cafeteria, their table erupting in snickers every time one hit his tray. Jamal kept his cool, his jaw tight, remembering his mother's words, "Don't let them see you. Break." But inside he was burning. He wasn't just the new kid, he was the black kid, and in Willow Creek, that painted a target on his back. The first twist came after school that day. Jamal was cutting through the football field to avoid the main exit when the Kings cornered him near the bleachers. Ethan stepped forward, his voice low and mocking. "You think you're tough, city boy? This ain't Atlanta, you don't belong here?" Jamal's fists clenched, but before he could respond, a girl's voice cut through the tension. "Leave him alone." "Ethan." It was Mia Alvarez, a junior with dark curls and a reputation for not taking crap. She was on the track team fast as lightning, and her family owned the diner in town. Ethan sneered, but backed off, muttering something about not worth it. Mia shot Jamal a quick look, half sympathy, half curiosity, before walking away. Jamal didn't know it then, but Mia would become his first ally and something more. Asterisk. Over the next week, the bullying intensified. The Kings tripped him in the halls, spread rumors he was in a gang, and even slashed his bike tires. The school's principal, Mr. Hargrove, a balding man with a permanent frown, turned a blind eye. "Boys will be boys," heads say, brushing off complaints. Jamal heard the whispers and class slurs, muttered under breath questions about why Head moved here, assumptions about his past. He kept his head down, focusing on his schoolwork, but the pressure was building. At home, Aunt Lorraine noticed his silence but didn't push. She assumed he was adjusting. She didn't know about the note slipped into his locker, "Go back where you came from." What nobody knew was Jamal's secret. Back in Atlanta, had been a prodigy in mixed martial arts. His mother had enrolled him in a gym at 12, hoping it would keep him off the streets. Under Coach Davis, a grizzled ex-Marine, Jamal had learned discipline, technique, and how to channel his anger into precision. By 15, he was competing in underground fight clubs, undefeated his speed and strength, earning him the nickname Lion. But after his mother's death, in a car accident, and the legal mess that followed, had sworn off fighting. Didn't want that life anymore. Yet as the Kings pushed harder, that old fire in his chest was stirring. The second twist came during gym class 2 weeks later. The teacher, Coach Ramsey, a former linebacker with a soft spot for Ethan, organized a friendly dodgeball game.
The Kings
Used it as an excuse to pelt Jamal with every throw, their balls slamming into his ribs and head. The class laughed, but Mia on Jamal's team wasn't having it. She caught a ball midair and fired it back, nailing Tyler in the chest so hard he stumbled. The gym went silent. Ethan's face darkened, and after class, he cornered Jamal in the locker room. "You and your little girlfriend are done," he hissed, shoving Jamal against a locker. That's when Jamal snapped. Not with fists, but with words. "You're pathetic," he said, his voice steady. "You're scared of anyone who doesn't bow to you." Ethan swung, but Jamal dodged his training, kicking in instinctively. He didn't strike back, just walked away, leaving Ethan humiliated in front of his cousins. Word spread fast. By the next day, Jamal was a target not just for the Kings, but for their entire crew. They trashed his locker, spray painting a racial slur across it. Mia found him cleaning it up, her eyes blazing with anger. "You don't have to take this," she said. "Fight back." Jamal shook his head. Fighting is what they want, in not giving them that. But Mia wasn't so sure. She had seen something in Jamal's eyes of strength. He was holding back. She started digging into his past, asking around town, even calling a cousin in Atlanta who knew people. What she found shocked her. Jamal wasn't just some kid. He was a fighter, a legend in certain circles. She didn't tell him she knew, but she started pushing him to stand up, not just for himself, but for others the Kings targeted. The third twist came at the town's annual Harvest Festival, a big deal in Willow Creek. The fairgrounds were packed with rides, food stalls, and a stage for local bands. Jamal went with Mia, who'd convinced him to get out of the house. For a few hours, things felt normal. They shared cotton candy, laughed at a rigged ring toss game, and Jamal even smiled, his guard lowering. But the Kings were there, drunk on cheap beer and bravado. They spotted Jamal and Mia near the Ferris wheel and started taunting them loud enough for the crowd to hear. Ethan threw a slur, and the crowd went quiet. Jamal froze, his mother's voice echoing in his head. But then Mia stepped forward, her voice cutting through the night. "You're nothing but a coward, Ethan. All of you are." Murmured some, nodding, others looking away. Ethan, humiliated, charged at Jamal. This was the moment everything changed. Jamal didn't want to fight, but his instincts took over. He sidestepped Ethan's wild swing, grabbed his arm, and flipped him onto the ground in one fluid motion. The crowd gasped. Tyler and Nate rushed in, but Jamal was a blur, dodging, weaving, landing. Precise strikes that left them sprawling. He didn't throw a single unnecessary punch. When it was over, the Kings were on the ground, dazed, and Jamal stood tall, breathing hard. The crowd was silent, then erupted in cheers. Mia grinned, but Jamal's face was grim. He hadn't wanted this. He knew what came next. The fallout was swift. The King's parents, influential in town, demanded Jamal's expulsion. Principal Hargrove was all too happy to comply, calling Jamal to his office the next day. But Mia had been busy. She had recorded the fight on her phone, capturing Ethan's slurs and the King's aggression. She posted it online, and by morning, it had gone viral in Willow Creek. The comments were brutal, people calling out the Kings, the school, even the town's quiet racism. Parents started pulling their kids from Hargrove's classes, demanding change. The school board, under pressure, suspended the Kings instead. Jamal was cleared, but he wasn't celebrating. He knew this wasn't the end. The final twist came a month later. Ethan, humiliated and outcast, didn't let it go. Had learned about Jamal's fighting passed through. A cousin who'd seen him in Atlanta. Ethan saw a chance for revenge, not in a fair fight, but something dirtier. Contacted a local promoter who ran illegal fight clubs in a nearby city. The deal was simple. Lure Jamal into a match, stack the odds against him, and watch him fall. Ethan approached Jamal at school, all smiles offering a truce. He invited him to a charity boxing event at a warehouse, claiming it was to raise money for the school. Jamal, suspicious but tired of running, agreed. He wanted to prove he could face his demons without losing himself. The night of the fight was electric. The warehouse was packed with rough types, bikers, gamblers, locals looking for blood. Mia, who'd insisted on coming, smelled a setup. She was right. The promoter had paired Jamal with a hulking fighter named Razor A 20-something, with a rap sheet and a mean streak. The rules were loose, the ref bought off. Jamal stepped into the makeshift ring, his heart pounding. He hadn't fought like this in years, but the lion inside him was awake. The bell rang and Razor came at him like a freight train. Jamal danced, ducked, took hits that rattled his bones. The crowd roared, betting against him. Mia shouted from the sidelines, her voice cutting through the noise, "You're stronger than this." Halfway through, Jamal found his rhythm. He remembered Coach Davis's lessons, used their strength against them. He let Razor tire himself out, then struck. Quick jabs, a hook to the ribs, a final uppercut that sent Razor to the mat. The crowd went wild, but Ethan wasn't done. As Jamal left the ring, two of Razor's friends jumped him in the parking lot. It was a trap. Jamal fought back, but he was outnumbered. That's when Mia, who'd been watching, rallied a group of locals who'd seen her video online. They rushed in, pulling the attackers off. Ethan, caught in the chaos, tried to run but was cornered by the same crowd head once ruled. After the fight, Jamal retreated to Aunt Lorraine's house, his body bruised, his mind heavy with the weight of what had done. He sat on the porch, the lion carving in his hand, staring at the stars over Willow Creek. The town felt different now, quieter, as if it too was reflecting on its scars. Jamal thought about his mother, her strength, her belief that he could be more than his circumstances. He thought about Atlanta, the fights, the pain, and how he'd come here to escape it all. But running hadn't worked. Facing it had. Mia joined him on the porch, her presence a steady anchor. She didn't push him to talk, just sat with him, her shoulder brushing his. She'd seen him at his strongest and his most vulnerable, and she stayed. Jamal realized then that Willow Creek wasn't just a place to survive, it was where he'd learned to stand. The video Mia posted had sparked more than outrage, it had started conversations in homes, churches, even the diner where locals debated what it meant to belong. Jamal didn't feel like a hero, but he felt seen. He thought of the kids at school who'd started nodding to him in the halls, the teachers who'd begun questioning their own biases. He knew change was slow, but it was happening. The lion carving felt warm in his hand, a reminder that his mother's love was still with him, guiding him to be unstoppable. Not through fists, but through courage. He looked at Mia, and for the first time in years he felt hope. A quiet fire that burned brighter than any fight. The aftermath was a reckoning. Ethan's family lost their pull in town. The Kings were shunned, their reign over. Jamal, bruised but unbroken, became a quiet hero. The school started a diversity council pushed by Mia and other students. Jamal didn't fight again, but he didn't need to. Head found his place not as a fighter, but as someone who stood up. He and Mia grew closer, their bond forged in fire. Aunt Lorraine, proud but worried, finally understood the weight had carried. Jamal kept the lion carving in his pocket, a reminder of his mother and the strength she'd seen in him. Asterisk. Years later, Jamal would look back on Willow Creek as the place where he became unstoppable, not because he fought, but because he chose when to fight and when to rise above. The town changed slowly, but it changed. And Jamal Carter, the black kid who faced hate and won, became a story whispered in the halls of Willow Creek High, a legend of resilience and redemption. Thanks for watching Jamal's incredible journey. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment and let us know which part of the country you're watching from. Are you in Ohio, like Jamal, or somewhere else? Subscribe for more stories that inspire and share your thoughts below.